The flags, the cameras, the cheers, none of it mattered. I scanned faces in the crowd, searching for one. Small, familiar, missing. No daughter. The house looked the same when I pulled into the driveway. Curtains drawn, grass uncut, her car parked crooked in the drive. But silence greeted me. A silence that felt rehearsed. Then, faint, a sound outside. Not laughter, not play, a whimper. I followed it. My boot sank into damp earth until I reached the backyard fence. There, a kennel, rusted metal, a padlock clinging to its side like a leech. Inside, my daughter. Her wrists cuffed, skin bruised where steel bit, her hair tangled, her eyes wide, too wide, as if childhood had been stolen in a single breath. "Daddy," she whispered, voice breaking. "Mom's boyfriend said this is my room now. Mom said you were just the government's dog, so this is where I belong." The air left my lungs. My heart did not pound. It froze. They treated her like an animal. I felt something coil inside me, quiet, patient, lethal. Not rage, not grief. A monster. And monsters do not announce themselves. They wait. I freed her gently, carrying her inside. She clung to me like a shadow. The house smelled of alcohol and betrayal. Ashtrays, empty glasses, a stranger's jacket tossed across the couch. She sat at the table, trembling, while I moved through the rooms. Every object spoke in whispers. The missing photos from the walls, my letters unopened, her new jewelry sparkling where none should exist. Then, the faintest sound. Laughter upstairs. A man's laugh, low, confident, followed by hers. I didn't storm up the stairs. I stood at the bottom, listening, memorizing the rhythm of their sin. Infidelity had always been a suspicion, lurking in the corners of late-night calls, excuses, unanswered texts. But suspicion is smoke. Now, I smelled fire. I returned to my daughter. Her eyes begged me for something I hadn't yet given her. Safety, truth, justice. But justice isn't loud. Justice takes time. I moved like a ghost in my own home for days. I spoke little. She noticed. She tried to explain away small details. The new clothes, the missing money, the late nights. Lies dripped from her tongue like practiced poison. I nodded. I smiled. I waited. But silence isn't surrender. Silence is surveillance. I checked her phone while she slept. Messages. Intimate. Shameless. Promises whispered in digital ink. He called her baby. She sent pictures that weren't meant for me. I copied everything. Saved it. Dated it. I checked bank statements. Money drained. Gifts purchased. Hotel charges. My salary feeding their affair. Feeding their cage. And then I took it further. DNA. A swab from my daughter. Quick, gentle, unnoticed. Sent it away. The waiting carved at me like a knife. Outwardly, I was calm. Inwardly, every second stretched thin with rage. But rage does not win wars. Patience does. The envelope arrived, plain and silent. I opened it alone. Words on paper. Numbers. Certainty. She was mine. My blood. My daughter. But the betrayal wasn't diluted. It sharpened. Because my wife had told her otherwise, had carved me into a caricature of obedience, a dog of war, unworthy of love or fatherhood. And worse, she had let him cage my child. I held the report in my hands, cold, absolute. That night I placed it in front of her at the table. No words, just the truth between us. She read, her face drained. The mask slipped. I can explain, she stammered. I didn't blink, didn't breathe. Silence is more terrifying than rage. The boyfriend came by the next evening, confident, loud, swaggering. I waited. He entered. She smiled at him, nervous now, glancing at me. I slid the folder across the table toward him. Phone records, pictures, bank statements, all of it. He laughed at first, then stopped. His face twisted, realizing he was nothing more than a documented stain. I spoke finally, calm, low, unshakable. You both treated my daughter like an animal. You thought I'd be blind, but I see everything. And now so will everyone else. Her eyes widened. She begged. He cursed. I recorded it all. Every plea, every denial. Evidence layered on evidence. And then I walked out, my daughter in my arms. Not with violence, not with fire, with truth. And truth ruins quietly. The divorce papers came weeks later. She lost custody. He vanished. Their reputations bled out in silence, strangled by their own deeds. I never raised my voice, never struck them. The monster inside me didn't roar. It simply waited, then consumed. Now my daughter sleeps in her own bed again. No locks, no cages. She doesn't know everything I did. She doesn't need to. What matters is this: she is free, and they will never be. Because chains don't always rattle in the dark. Sometimes they sit quiet, invisible, waiting, just like me.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.